Hello everyone, it is a nice beautiful morning. I've been waking up at 5:45 in the morning, which is so unlike me. I am not a morning person, but I'm becoming one here in the facility. It's wonderful. Um, so I want to talk more about DID, my altars, and what it's like to have DID. Um, a lot of you are probably new to this. It's very scary when you first get your diagnosis, and I promise you that as you learn your system, as you learn how to function, as you learn how to communicate with your system, and open up to the idea that you do have DID, the better things will get. Um, when I first got it, I was terrified. But then so much in my life started to make sense. Um, I did an intensive, and during that intensive, my specialist was able to bring out many of my altars, and since then I have learned of the other altars. I believe in the last video I told you some of their names, and not all of their characteristics. I will start at the top and start giving you some of their characteristics. I have Big T, who is my primary altar. He's been around the longest. Big T is a giant man. I am 5'8", around 130 pounds, not a big woman. Small boned, and Big T is a massive 6'7", pure muscle, prison tattooed guy with a shaved head. Kind of looks like the Aryan Nation, unfortunately, but is not in the Aryan Nation. He would be the guy in the yard in prison that would stand up against the back of the fence or stand in the weight room with his arms crossed, watching and observing everyone. And he would be the guy that no one would fuck with, because of his sheer size, his sheer strength, and his intimidation. Now, when I'm Big T, he was very, very angry for the longest time, being the only altar, being my protector. He took on the characteristics of my father, who was my main abuser, and he had an exaggerated sense of the need to protect me, to the point where he was actually verbally abusive. When I'm him, I have that strength. I have that red rage anger. I have the ability to do damage to a person should they physically threaten me or try to harm me. I have no doubts that I could take down a man twice my size when I'm Big T. And that phenomenon of being as strong as an altar, or being so linked with an altar that you have all of their feelings, all of their thoughts. Big T used to be a blackout altar, but now he is an altar that helps me communicate with the other altars, being that he knows all of them. You will have a main altar. Generally, that's the first one that comes out. And like I said, for me, he was the one that adopted qualities of my persecutor, but then also adopted qualities that allowed him to take care of me in situations he perceived as danger. I was lucky in that I was able to soften Big T. There are 3 men, or have been, one, rest in peace, were very giant men, but were very soft inside, and by talking to him and associating those men with his need to protect, and informing him that he had taken on the characteristics of our abuser, softened him to the point where he knows he only needs to come out if I'm ever in extreme danger anymore. And he helps me connect to the other altars. He almost speaks for them. He guards them. And when he believes that they're in danger, he actually guards them. But he and I can have conversations, which you will learn how to do yourself, over the past year. And his softening only came about, I'd say about 6 months ago. And when it did happen, it was wonderful. It really was. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to know that I had this protector that would protect me if need be, but that he understood that I was now in a safe place and I did not need him to come out all the time, and that the severity in which he was acting, the severity in which he was speaking, was no longer necessary. He is someone who I admire, I love, I adore. Just as I do all of my altars. I love them for the things that they did for me in my life. The way that they protected me, the way that they made it so that I could live a semi-normal life. I would say very high-functioning life. Build the life of my dreams from the bottom of nothing, where I should have been a homeless drug addict for the rest of my life. I was steps away from that, and I actually was homeless at times, to living a very comfortable life. It took lots and lots of work to get there, and don't you give up, like you can get there too. I apologize for all the peely paint on my hand. I did paint last night. So maybe that's a good place for you yourself to start. Find your main altar, connect with them, find what it is that their purpose is in you and your body, and then slowly but surely help them understand your needs and your wants in today and bring them into today. That's what all altars really want. They want you to hear their origins. They want you to understand where they came from, some of the trauma that they carry, and understand that they don't have to live in those places anymore. And whether you realize it yet or not, those altars are constantly with you, constantly coming out here and there in ways that you don't know and you don't understand yet until you get to know them. And once you get to know them, you'll start to see the subtle ways in which they peek out here and there, or they take over slightly. Or you may hear, you black out, you don't remember what you do, you act like a different person. And that's your blackout altars. And then there are also your share your body altars. And there are altars that are present at more than one time. This is all very overwhelming and very confusing at first, but I promise you there's hope. There is hope. Through education, through therapy, you will begin to understand your system. I personally believe in integration. And integration not in that I want them to leave, but integration in that I get to bring them here. I get to understand why I split in all these different directions and become a whole person. And should the time come that they need to manifest themselves again, they will. And I love that, and I love and I respect them, and treating them with love and respect is one of the healthiest things that you can do to integrate and to bring them forward. And I'm at 10 minutes, so I'm going to go. I will post more later. Thank you so much for watching, those of you that are. I know it'll take a while to reach a larger community, but I hope that those of you that are watching are finding some solace and some comfort in the things that I'm saying. So, Alicia out.